All right, looks like I am live. Let's see here. Not really prepared for this. I just had some extra time, and I had been thinking about doing this in a while. You probably don't recognize me. I've shaved. My cowboy hat is somewhere else. Anyway, if you are a subscriber, you probably have not heard from me in a long time. If you're not a subscriber, then you might want to go through and look at some of my old videos. I also have podcasts as well. I got mad a few years ago because YouTube canceled me. They said I was offering securities or something. I don't even remember what it was. It was garbage. And I went through their process, and they took those videos down. They didn't care. And I've never ever tried to sell anything on this channel. There's been some coins that I really liked, and some of those have been good, some of them have been terrible. That's the way it goes. But I've been doing this. I started this podcast or this video YouTube channel back in 2018, early 2018. And I was one of not the early influencers, but the second wave during the big boom. And I was busy mining Bitcoin during the big boom of 2017. My wife and I were into it quite a bit. And I talked about government control of Bitcoin and a lot of things like that. A lot of the influencers have had their own opinions. Some of them cross over with mine. Some of them don't. But just kind of give you an update what's been going on. I moved out of California. I'm now in Idaho. And I've had my ups and downs with cryptocurrency, but I've done some good moves too. We were able to do pretty good and actually cash some out to help pay for a down payment on a rental property to help pay for the closing costs and stuff like that. So it hasn't been all bad. Overall, we definitely are doing good. I did get caught up in the Celsius scandal. Unfortunately, I didn't get caught up in the FTX or any of the other stuff. Thank God. But, crypto has its ups and downs, and that's why I would always tell people you can lose all your money. But if you play the long game and you dollar cost average in, my experience is you're going to win. You're going to win and you're going to win. If you panic sell, if you do risky moves, then you can lose. If you buy and sell, you're probably going to lose unless you've got software, you've got someone keeping you up to date with all the latest on each coin, and they have a good reputation. You use like 3 commas or something so you can do trailing stop loss and cut your losses and keep your gains as it bounces up. If it does, that's a hard game to play. You still have to be available on your phone all the time. I tried it. If you can spend every day of your life and be able to respond to any price alerts right away, you can do good. That's my opinion, not financial advice. So what am I doing now? Well, I am mining Bitcoin still. I have a small miner on one of my computers. I've got a little tiny script miner that mines Litecoin. I've got an ASIC that I get Bitcoin, and I'm also mining the Chia coin. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm not getting rich off of it, but I'm accumulating some coins. And I know that a lot of people are talking about the bull market coming, and I believe it's going to come. I believe we're setting up for it. Historically, a lot of the charts are lining up for that. And there's a lot of great YouTube influencers that talk about that. So I'm not going to be on here posting all the time. I'm not going to be doing podcasts all the time. If you've listened to my podcasts, I may do one or two here or there, but nothing hardcore. My plans for the next year is to continue Bitcoin mining. I believe my old videos on there where I mine for cryptocurrency was solar. So since I've moved, I haven't got to set back up the solar, but I want to get back to mining cryptocurrency with solar. And I'm considering doing a channel on just survival, because everything that I do in my life kind of more or less falls into that category. From, I have had the chickens and the farm. If you followed me for a while, small farm, homestead, I guess would probably be a better terminology. And we're doing that up here. We have a couple acres, and I got a greenhouse, and I also am leading a group through our church of young men, young boys, to do bushcraft. Familiar with bushcraft? It's basically surviving with just one of these, a straight blade knife. And you can build on that. There's a lot of other equipment that we use, but basically you learn how to survive out there off whatever's available to you out there. Starting fire with just sparks, ferrocerium rod, flint, whatever. Making furniture, shelter, being able to survive with little kits and things like that is also something. It's a lot higher level than just prepping. The other thing that's kind of survival is just what you do around your home. When I was a kid, they used to say have about 24 hours worth. I think it was FEMA said have about 24 hours worth of stuff. And now it's like they recommend if you could have a couple weeks. So that's pretty telling right there. They're telling you that they might not be able to help you in a couple weeks. So if you don't have 2 weeks supply of water and food, you're not listening to what the government says. So prepping is really something every person should be doing in light of the world situation that we're seeing right now, the political, the financial, the threat of this digital government money is going to be happening anytime right now. This could be a great reason to have cryptocurrency. It's kind of why I got into it. If you ever listen to my videos, I actually bought Bitcoin at the end of 2010. And not because I was smart or I thought it was going to make me rich. I read the white paper. And it said, shouldn't you own some just in case? And I thought about that, and I thought, well, just in case it becomes worth a lot of money? Yeah, I don't know. Or just in case something else. And I think it's just because something else. And something else is a financial collapse, your money becoming valueless. That's the something else. Or the real reason that hit home with me, and I've got a video on 666, the number of the beast, and if cryptocurrency fits into that, it's kind of interesting. Maybe not what you think, but I thought, man, if the government creates this digital money, we're in a world of trouble. And because of that, we need to build this cryptocurrency, Bitcoin / cryptocurrency infrastructure so that it's so strong and so unbreakable and so decentralized that it cannot be stopped by any force on earth. Okay. Because if the government starts building a blockchain or cryptocurrency, your freedom is gone. You can forget it. You can forget free speech. You can forget free beliefs. The story I like to tell people is Russia, pre-Reagan, Gorbachev, right? Right before Gorbachev became a name. You know, if you were a churchgoer, no churches, only what's allowed in Russia. I think it's the Russian Orthodox Church or something like that. That's about all that was allowed. If you were a gay person, you're going to jail. They're going to send you to Siberia, basically. There was no freedom. Well, once they were opened up to a form of capitalism, the wall came down. They were waiting in lines for toilet paper. I mean, this is a real thing. I remember hearing about this and seeing this. I've talked to people who've come here from Russia and surrounding countries from the former Soviet Union. I have friends that came out of that. They verified it. It's true. It's not just a media lie that happened back in the 80s. It was a real deal. When the wall came down, they got a little level of freedom because they became more capitalistic. They started allowing, more money to wheel and deal, and there was a little bit more freedom, and people were able to start going back to churches. And they weren't cracking down on the LGBT community. Gays were dancing in the discos. There was relative freedom for Russia. Well, now you have a leader, Putin, who is the old school communist, and he is tightening the reins. There's been people arrested, Christians arrested in Russia. It's back to basically the Russian okay church only. Other religions are not tolerated over there for the most part. They're not flourishing. The gays, they're back to being persecuted over there. So it's all going back. That's what happens. So freedom is not freedom just for, conservative religious people. And it's not just freedom for liberal people and our friends in the LGBT or whatever. It's not liberties for everybody. It's not just for some. And when you lose it, the government starts to turn against those that helped it get the power to turn against the first group, to start turning against the second group, the third group, the fourth group. It's that old adage that absolute power, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. The more power they have, the more cruel they are. Look at China. You can't eat the wrong food or read something or say something they don't like, or all of a sudden your social score is lowered and now you can't get a loan, you can't get your kids into college, you can't travel. That's what you're looking at with this digital currency through any government. It doesn't matter if it's the US or if it's China. It doesn't matter who it is. We have to fight against that. So I think Bitcoin is a great survival item. Some of the other cryptocurrencies could be, right? Different networks. I think a second network that could be independent from government-controlled internet would be a wonderful idea. So there's a lot to think about. So I wanted to get on here and do a video because, one, I've been so busy just trying to, survive. We started to do pretty good, and, the economy, everything's doubled in price. When I moved here, gas was under $2 a gallon. Okay. I've been here over 3 years. That was 2 years ago. And within a year and 3 months, it doubled in price and then some. Okay. Wages have not gone up for crap around here. Milk is double the cost. Eggs are quadruple the cost. Everything is more, and everything that you need, the food, the energy, all those things are going up like this. The housing cost, now it's kind of like this, right? We're probably getting ready for a dive, at least a little bit. Idaho's a pretty popular place. A lot of people want to leave their states due to COVID and different things like that. Riots in the cities. A lot of people are wanting out of big cities. They're looking for smaller states. They're looking for more constitutional states. People who are more left-leaning are now becoming more right-leaning. It's just what's happening. So here we are. Here we are looking at a new digital currency from our government coming out very soon. It's already in the banking industry. What are you going to do? We'll talk about that maybe sometime. But all of this to say, I'm thinking of doing just survival. And it could be anything. It could be on silver and gold. It could be on Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. It could be on, and not investment advice, but just, people who are putting their money into certain things. What would possibly be the best bet during turbulent times? What do we do if we lose our power, or there's social unrest, or the supply chain is broken and we can't have enough food or toilet paper, or, all of these things are geared on survival. And I'm thinking that that's what I might do. I enjoy it. I'm already doing it, already teaching it. It's been a part of my life and my wife's life. For me, forever. I came from a family of little means. And so I guess it just comes natural for me. And for my wife, she had a good upbringing. They never really wanted for anything, but she sees what's going on in the world. And a lot of people are, I guess you could say reasonably concerned to, they're panicked. People don't know where to turn or what to do. So anyway, that's what I'm thinking. If you're still subscribing or you happen to bump into this, you want to leave a comment. Let me know what you think about that idea. You think that's too broad of a brush to paint with? Let me know. I've just been contemplating, kind of creating it into a side hustle. I already have a day job. I was self-employed for a while, but business cut off and I went back to a day job. But I still have my, I guess you could call it a side hustle. I'm still doing handyman stuff on the side. And I have a podcast where I do rocks and gems. I've had it for over 4 years. It's something I enjoy. It's a hobby. And I just haven't had time for it. And it hasn't picked up like I hoped. I was really hoping that I could have generated a little bit more income from the videos and podcasts, but I'm not a professional media person. So that's probably part of the reason. Maybe it's just not good enough. I don't know. But I have, through my life, been in a position of being able to be an influencer at a certain level, especially since I've gotten past middle age. I've become, I went from working to managing. I went from church member to leader. And I went from being in a hobby to being the PR and leadership. It just was a progression that happened. Sometimes as you get older, you see the need and you step up and you help out. And next thing you know, you're an influencer or a leader of sorts. And because I'm genuine, I believe, and it's from the heart, it's not motivated from anything else, I think that has a positive influence. I've been waiting to see how that would be something that could produce some sort of, income at a level that my family and my wife would say, okay, yes, that's worth your time. Because, for example, with the Rocks and Gems, you spend 4 years, you make hundreds of videos or podcasts rather, and 60 videos. You have social media, you've got 10,000 people here, 1,000 people there, 4,000 people here. And you would think you could generate enough to make minimum wage for the time you put into it after 5 years. But I guess rocks and gems and minerals and lapidary and rock hounding is just not that productive of a, I mean, I believe it could be, but it just didn't roll enough to, to justify putting more time and effort into. I was selling some rocks and gems on the side, but that, was very time consuming. And then, you get one like on eBay and it comes in at a low bid, or, someone sends something back and you're like, oh, this isn't worth it. I had to drive through the snow to go get this down there and wait in a line for half hour for Christmas and then come back. And I made $1 on that. Cost me more in gas. And you mess up with the postage, things like that. And you start to go, oh man, I don't think this is working. So yeah, it has to be worth my time to spend more time on it. So that's why I say I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of videos unless some sort of huge demand or something pops up. I've seen people do funny videos or, get up on a stump or something for a political reason or whatnot. And then all of a sudden they just have all this influence overnight like that. Maybe that's what it takes. And maybe I just don't have it. I don't know. But anyway, regardless, yeah, my life is centered around taking care of my family and their spiritual needs, my spiritual needs, our physical needs, our financial needs, emotional needs. All those things have got to come first. But there should be some time to do something I like. And if it justifies more than a little bit of time because there's a reward, then so be it. If not, it'll just be once in a while thing. So anyway, I don't know if you stuck with this video all the way through this, but thank you for stopping by. Just keep dollar cost averaging in. And if I feel like I have some pearls to share, I thought I might do a video and just kind of go through and show you all the mining that I'm doing and go from there. So hopefully from now on, if I post anything, it'll be a bit more structured and professional than this. So thanks a lot. I'm your host, Shane. Take care. If I can figure out how to turn this off. Oh, wait a minute. Wrong one. There we go.